Who dat?
That's right. I see you.
Your Saints won today.
Darn right.
I only know that because Jordan Long said something about it.
As they should. Yeah, I saw that post they put up, which was awesome. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Should people be filing in?
Share this out.
Yep.
Oh, that's not it. Here we are. So for those that are here, funny story. This week, a couple days ago, Riker was snuggling with me in bed, which is a pretty common morning thing for us to be doing. And he just turns to me at one point and he puts his hand on my face and he goes, "Love you, babe." It was so sweet.
It's so super
Oh
sweet.
my gosh, I loved it.
Yeah, it was super sweet.
So sweet. And I'm sure he said that just because he hears you say it.
You think?
The babe part, especially. I mean,
That's what got you?
The babe part, I'm sure is why he said babe. Love you, babe. Oh my gosh, so sweet.
I do say, what's your theory on pet names for me with regards to you?
You have a million of them? Mostly babe. You don't call me my real name, ever. Unless you're mad at me.
I was just gonna say that's the thing. That's your theory.
Yep.
That if I use your name, I'm either really serious or upset.
Yep.
There were a couple times. There was something the other day we were talking about that I wasn't mad at you. I was bringing something like serious about our lives up, and I must have used your name because you like snapped to attention right quick.
If I hear my name come out of your mouth, I know something's up.
Well, Andrea, let's do this live show here.
Yes.
Guys, welcome so much. See
so
some people filing in. Yeah, you're welcomed a lot. Thanks so much for joining us. If you saw the question of the day that we're going to circle back to here towards the end, you're getting put on the spot, is if you could accomplish just one thing in 2021, what would that thing be?
That you're asking that question to somebody who's like a doer.
I know. So you got to think if you could just do one thing. So well, it's all right. You got some time to think about it. Give people a little bit longer to file in. Hey, when you jump in, put your name in the chat so that we know who's on with us and we can have more of a personal conversation with people that are on. That's the best part. So the flow for today is I'm going to share just a small piece of kind of what I've been thinking about this last week on the tales of all that happened this last week. I did in the post today promised a small amount of politics and then a lot of marriage. And the part that I want to talk about politics really isn't even necessarily political. It's more, in light of what has gone on this week. How do we talk to our kids about things like that? I've been thinking a lot about that, and just youth in general. Hey, Emily. Welcome. Love you too.
Hi, Em.
Yeah, thanks for popping on.
Yeah,
Emily, particularly you, I'd love to hear your thoughts kind of on what I'm going to say here in a minute because, I know where you stand with a lot of those things. So anyway, we're going to start with that here in a minute. Then we're going to talk just a little bit briefly about the shows that we did this last week. Hopefully you guys had a chance to catch those. If you didn't, I'll put links in the chat as we go through them. So you'll have access to those, and then we'll preview a little bit the shows that are coming up this next week, and then we will
talk about
the question of the day. So in the meantime, as you guys are jumping in and out, I'm going to try, as I see the numbers spike up and all that, just continue to say the question of the day so people can put that out there. Question of the day for this year is, if you could accomplish anything this year, but just one thing, if you could accomplish just one thing this year in 2021, what would it be? And you're welcome. You can be that person that puts world peace in the chat if you want to be.
Does it have? So it doesn't have to be something you can actually accomplish.
You know what? There's different strokes for different folks. You guys put in there whatever you want. But one thing you want to accomplish this year in 2021. We'll kind of close it down at the end with that. In the meantime, as always, if you have questions about anything that we talked about in any of our episodes this week. Love to have you put those in there as well. And also, if you have any questions about just us generally, that's kind of the purpose of this, is to feel free to throw those in there. Emily, I got to ask you too, how hype are you for this national championship game?
Oh, is Ohio State in it?
Ohio State is in it against all odds.
Clearly, I do not follow sports.
I'm sure not against all odds as far as Emily is concerned. I'm sure she knew this was going to happen from the beginning.
Oh, that's
great. Yeah, it's awesome. Should be a fun time. So, okay, yeah, ready to win. I have no doubt about that. No doubt about it.
That's cool.
Okay, so as many of you know, and for I'm guessing all of you know, but for posterior sake, as people watch this in the future, this last week there was a situation where a number of individuals took it upon themselves to lay siege to the Capitol building. And some people were killed, some people were injured, and this is being made to be a huge deal. Josh, what's up, dude? Josh, what are you even doing on here? The Browns are currently playing. You can't be on here talking to me. Sydney, what's up?
Hi, Sydney.
So glad you guys are on.
You guys didn't know it.
It's great.
Thanks for joining us. We love it.
Yeah. So
it's fun to not talk to ourselves.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Totally. So the question that I've wrestled with is, how do we as Christian thinkers, how do we think about what happened this last week? How do we talk about it with our kids? Right. And there's nobody's got all the facts. Right. So this is not a definitive. I'm not going to go through and tell you, hey, here's exactly what happened and here's how you should think about it. You can feel free to scroll through your Facebook feed and there will be tons of people that are ready to tell you all about what happened. Right. But what I was thinking about is, we've been reading, our church has been reading through the beginning of Genesis so far this year. And specifically, I've spent a lot of time this week reading about eventually Abraham. And, one of the things that made him so special to God, as we see in Hebrews 11, which is the Hall of Faith, where it talks about him, one of the things that made him so special to God was his refusal to see where he was right now on earth in Ur before he was called into Canaan, and throughout his life, his refusal to see that as his ultimate home. He constantly viewed his home as something that was yet to come. He lived in the future promises of God. And I believe that was one of the things that made him so special to God, is this wasn't a man who needed to see it, right? Despite some of his shortcomings in faith at the time that we see in the Bible, he was not a man who had to see everything right now. He was okay that God said, and that's enough. And it really struck me as I was reading about his life, his entire life, even the time that he spent in the land of Canaan, which is where the Lord told him to go, that was home, right? The Lord said, I want you to leave Ur the Chaldeans. I'm going to send you where you're going to go. He headed out and ended up in the land of Canaan, which, if you've read Exodus, is ultimately, the land that the Lord gives to the Israelites. He went there, but even during the time he lived in Canaan, he never built a permanent establishment. He lived as sort of a nomadic man that traveled around that land. And I think that's telling about what his outlook was on this world around him. I think that we need to start really getting serious as a church and as Christian believers about thinking about, what does it mean that we don't belong here? What does it mean that we've been put here on mission, not to view this land as our home, but to view it as an avenue by which we serve our Heavenly Father? Because that's the purpose for us to be here. And it's so easy to get sidetracked in this purpose and that purpose, right? It's really easy to go, yeah, I'm here for that, but all this social justice thing, or yeah, I'm here for that, but there's this thing over here I need to do, or yeah, I'm here for this, but we got to get this country back to the way its founding fathers were. And pretty soon we're distracted in all these avenues that we forget we don't belong here.
Yeah, but that's not to say that we don't belong being involved in those things.
That's right.
And that we, Nathan and I are very patriotic and we pray a lot for our country. We're very concerned about our country. Nathan's talked in the past about getting involved in politics, but that's not where our ultimate hope lies. And that's not where our security lies.
Right. I was reading some things about Abraham Lincoln lately. Apparently Abraham has been on my mind that people named that. But I was reading some things about him, and one of the things that was said about him that he believed is that America is great, because we are a free people who choose to forgive and live united. And I thought about that, and I thought, man, that's something to be said from a man who oversaw meaning viewed one of the largest slaughters of Americans ever during the Civil War. And yet afterwards he was able to say, this is why this country's great, because we are a free people who choose to forgive and live united. But here's the problem, guys, is if we're being honest with ourselves, are we that people? You tell me. Are we? Right. I mean, look around for 40 years, 50 years. Have we been that people? That's what America is. America is a group of people that live free, choose to forgive those around us, and be involved in lifting those people up. That's what the founding fathers envisioned. Not a land of, so often we buy into this libertarian, like, hey, we're just all these people that live in this same place, and screw you, as long as you don't mess with me, we're fine. As soon as you do, I'm shooting you between the eyes. That's not what the United States was. The United States was clearly set out to be a group of people who love those around them enough that we all want to push each other up. Not because the government tells us we have to do it, but because we do it because it's right. Right. After the Civil War ended, Abraham Lincoln made a statement that we would either nobly save or meanly lose the last best hope on earth. And what he meant, as if you read that in the context of the rest of what he said, he understood that democracy never had more of a chance of working. A republican democracy, which is what we are, never had more of a chance of working than it has in the United States, because there was never a group of people before ever that were so crystal clear that this form of government only works if we recognize the power of a supreme creator that created us with certain inalienable rights, and we're willing to sacrifice ourselves to lift up those around us and walk arm in arm with those around us. Even though they might piss us off, even though they might do stupid stuff, even though they might steal stuff from us, even though they might trample on some of those rights from time to time, we are America because we're willing to forgive and choose to live united, which by my estimation means the more we choose to not do that, the less we're America and the more we're something else. And that something else ought to terrify every single one of us, because the rest of the world doesn't have a great track record with trying to step away from freedom and creating other stuff. And you can go around and look throughout history, it's a disaster. We have to get back to being a people who chooses to forgive and chooses to live united. And right now, if you're thinking, yeah, but the other guys, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We got to stop doing that. And here's the great part. As Christian conservatives, which I am, there's two things working out for us. One is serious and one is kind of tongue-in-cheek. The first one is we're right. The Christian conservative argument is the factually sound argument. And I know that because most of it comes from right here. Sure. So if I have faith that this is the word of God, right? If I believe that 2 Timothy, 3:16 and 17 is right, that every word of this is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, correcting, rebuking, and training in righteousness, that the man and woman of God might be fully equipped for every good work. If I believe that, and my political beliefs are founded on this, I don't have to apologize for that. But I do have to know how to articulate those things. And the second thing is, man, Christian conservatives are out repopulating the liberals by about 4-1 at this point. So if we take seriously the family unit that we have, and we choose to train them up with an understanding of who they are before the throne of God, regardless of who the United States says they are, regardless of who or what their public school says is or isn't acceptable, regardless of who or what television and the other forms of media around us say is right or wrong, if we take it upon ourselves to teach them what's in this book and to teach them how that applies and how that really created what we have here in the United States, this ship can be righted. But we've got to choose that. And that's not a fast way to go about it, right? And the problem is, from what I'm reading in my social media feeds, that's the problem. Is everybody wants what they want right now, right? I want it to be 1780 United States of America as far as beliefs go right now. I want it to be the Reagan era right now. On the other side, I want it to be Woodrow Wilson's America right now. We can't have that. But what we can do is take seriously training up our children in the way they should go. Right? Maybe they choose to accept that, maybe they choose to reject that. But all we can do is choose to do it, right? That's the part where we recognize ultimately we belong somewhere else. And the truth of the matter is that if the United States of America continues down this path, it will cease to be the United States of America. And that makes me really sad to say that. But that's something, here's the thing about a republic democracy, you get to choose it. So if that's what we choose, that will be tragic. It will cost tons of lives around the world. But if you choose it, then that's what you choose it, right? Benjamin Franklin said that. He was asked, what form of government have you chosen for us after the Second Continental Congress? And what did he say? A republic democracy, if you can keep it. Because he knew there's only one way a republic democracy loses, right? People choose to let go of it. We don't need to do that because we have all the answers right here.
Good stuff.
So pray, right? Please pray for the country, pray for the leaders, even the ones you don't like, right? Don't do any of this "not my president" stuff. That's the type of stuff they do. Don't do that, right? We're better than that, right? Let's do this the right way and stand up for righteousness.
That was passionate.
That's right.
That was great.
I've spent a lot of time thinking.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah. So obviously, as you guys have thoughts about that, feel free to put those in there. Happy to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I don't claim to have all the answers by any means. I just wanted to share a little bit of what I've been thinking about. So anyway, take that for what it's worth.
Cool.
All right. So, babe, what shows did we do last week? I've talked a ton. So why don't you share a little bit about the shows we had come out last week?
Okay. So Monday we finished our talking about planning for the next year. So, what is it? Not my president chose.
Well, that's fair. I mean, you got to make your choice.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. I agree with that. Not my president choice either. Okay, so we talked about planning for the next year.
Calendar-wise.
Calendar. So we had talked about several things: financial, and then calendar. And yeah, we got it. I'm curious if anybody does that, or what you thought about that if you've listened to it. So planning, taking your calendar and talking about what's this next year going to look like. What do we need to set in our calendar at the beginning of the year so that it happens. We make sure these things happen, and then having like really regular calendar appointments with your spouse to make sure that you're keeping up with that and that the stuff that you want to happen happens. Kind of like finances. If you don't plan for it, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, totally.
So would love to hear if anybody does that, or if you listen to that, what you think.
Yeah, good calendar tips. Yeah, we're always looking for good calendar tips and love to pass those on to everybody else.
Yeah, it can be hard to just keep life straight sometimes, but
yeah, I mean, we do just the old Google Calendar method, and I'm sure people use iCal if you've got an iPhone or whatnot. So, but yeah, if you've got tips for that, that'd be great.
We talked about this on the episode. We're doing something new this year where one of our goals is to spend more time with friends, both with our friends individually and then couple friends. And so one of the things that we're doing is every time we spend time with friends, we put it in our calendar as, like we start off with friend and then what we're doing, or couple and then what we're doing, so that at the end of the year we can search and see how much time did we spend with our friends and with our couple friends, and did we really meet that goal.
That's right. Leslie says communication is a beautiful thing, and you're right. It is a beautiful thing, and it can be really difficult. I mean, I think life stuff gets crazy, and not to mention that things like talking about time and things like talking about money can be divisive, because we have opinions on things. I mean, I completely agree with that. Totally. Yeah. Any good tips from that one, babe, that you remembered?
Emily says, I know some couple friends you can hang out with. Yeah. We are planning So Emily's a friend of ours. She used to live in Omaha and then she moved to Iowa. Why did you do that?
Yeah, this is your fault.
I know, it's to bury Mav, but you guys could have lived in Omaha. So they moved to Iowa, and we had planned to see. We've had like 4 trips planned to see them, and for whatever reason, life circumstances came up and those had to be canceled. And so this year,
how many times
it's on the plan?
Yeah, how many times has that happened? I feel like it's like, if you're a Harry Potter person, getting together with you guys, Emily, is like the professor of the dark arts. It's just like it's a cursed thing.
I know, it's terrible. Like legit reasons they had to be canceled.
Totally ridiculous.
So yeah,
it's good.
And seeing Leslie is something too. I'm planning on doing this year.
Yeah. Emily says, love your comments. I think it's crucial to teach our kids about history, critical thinking, and that just because you see something in the media doesn't mean it's true. That is certainly the case.
We need to remember that as adults too.
Yeah, this is a good. That ties right in to Emily, and I know you'd agree with this, to what we talk about with regards to studying the Bible, because just because a pastor says it doesn't mean it's true either. And so often in today's pull up a pastor's podcast society or whatever, it's easy to just throw something on your iPhone or on your podcasting or whatever, and just take whatever that pastor says at face value, and that's studying the Bible. And man, that can be super dangerous.
Yeah, it is, and that's a great reason why we need to read the Word for ourselves and know what it says, so that we can critically think about what somebody who may be great intentioned and reads the Word as well, but we know what somebody says and can say, not sure how that lines up this way or whatever. And
that's right.
Sometimes that's sparked really great conversation between the two of us too.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's one of those things where teaching our kids how to study the Bible prepares them for life in the United States. Because when we talk to our kids about studying the Bible, we should be teaching them, hey, yeah, what our pastor said on Sunday, that's great, but is that really what the Bible says? I think it builds this healthy skepticism in our kids where they go, okay, well, I'm not just going to take somebody's word for it. And that ties exactly, Emily, into what you're saying, right? Just because I read something on the internet, or just because I got an update on my phone from USA Today, does that mean that actually is the truth? How would they even know that? We start asking some critical questions about that, which is key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, and then anything else about schedule?
No, I think that's great.
Yeah, and then Friday we just had our 2020 letter. We did our first Christmas/New Year's kind of letter sort of thing. We've never done that. I've always wanted to, because I just love getting those in the mail. So we did one, but we did one on YouTube and put pictures over it. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yeah.
You can hear about our year.
It's actually right there. I just posted it up in the chats. So particularly if you listen to us on audio, which is great. Thanks for being with us on that. Love having you. For this particular one, I'd encourage you to flip over to YouTube because I put them on both places so you could hear the Christmas letter kind of read to you or New Year's letter read to you on audio, but it's not the same without the picture. So if you're interested, flip over to YouTube and check it out. If you're not, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, that was fun to put together.
Yeah, Josh says, trust plus verify.
Yeah.
I see you with your Ronald Reaganisms.
I had a boss that always was saying that, and it's true. Trust but verify.
Yeah, so what's that mean?
Trust what somebody says. You don't have to be in their face about what's wrong with what they said if you don't know for sure. But just like we were saying with a pastor, if you're listening to a pastor and you can take what they're saying and then go to the word and make sure that's correct, so that you know from your own research that what they're saying is correct. What?
I'm just listening to what you're saying. Do you think that that's a biblical concept?
What?
Trust but verify.
You do. I can tell by your face.
Well, I'm thinking about this.
I'm not thinking of anything biblically.
No, I do. Right? I do think it's a biblical leadership tool. I think we can see in several stories in the Bible where that was used. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. I think we need to probably be careful that we don't apply that to the Lord.
Right.
Because I'm just
thinking of like any human relationship that you have. We're all fallible, right? So even with my kids, the things that I tell them about truth, I would hope that when they get older, they don't not trust me, but that they understand mom isn't perfect.
Right.
So I think that's what I'm getting at is not everybody's perfect. So even though it's maybe somebody who is trustworthy, still verify that because you need to know for yourself and do the work yourself. Right.
Yeah, and I think that can creep into the way we think about the Lord in subtle ways, because I think even with things that are going on in the world around us, where we feel like maybe the Lord's given you something specific to do, either a request or has laid something on your heart that He wants you to take part in. We can buy into this. Yeah, Lord, I'll do that, but I need to see how it's all going to work together, right? I mean, it can be, we know how that can work, right? I mean, you go, well, yeah, I'm going to do that, but Lord, I need to see the plan. And man, we need to recognize sometimes the plan's way above our pay grade, and we're blessed to even get to be a small cog in that wheel of what the Lord's doing. So 100% agree with the trust and verify. It was one of the things that, I feel like is essential when you're just having any kind of leadership position, is you want to give people opportunities to earn your trust and do things right, but you're not just going to take their word for it either. It's good.
Yeah, that's great.
Cool.
Priscilla said something nice.
Yes, she did. Totally see your intentionality in the letters and the pics. A memory is made too. Loved it. Thank you so much. That's great. Yeah, we had a lot of fun putting that together and trying to time some of the pictures to come up at the right times. And
it was fun too, just going over the whole year of pictures.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it was.
Pull those out.
Yeah, you're right. It was talking about the memories we made. And, one really positive thing about that for us is it really helps you to think about, we didn't have a lot of pictures in our picture roll from 2020 of COVID, right? I mean, we didn't take many, here's a picture of Andrea holding COVID, right? I mean, my point in that is it helps reset your man, look at all the amazing things that happened in 2020, even though there's some bad things that happened and some things that we aren't happy about, it refocuses you on but look at all these amazing things that happened. Reminds me, reading about Abram, it's interesting. You see Noah, when he gets off the ark, he builds an altar to the Lord, and then Abram twice in succession builds an altar to the Lord. And there's not any documentation in early Genesis. There is later with regards to the law, but with regards to Noah or Abram, there wasn't any indication that the Lord commanded them to build an altar. It was like they had to build an altar to remember this moment and to give praise to the Lord. And I kind of, in a small way to us internally, that card that we sent out was sort of our altar to the Lord for all that he blessed us with in 2020. And I hope it was as honoring to him as it was fun for everybody to take a look at. So, and fun to put together. Yeah. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Okay.
So what do we have coming up this week?
What do we have coming up? So Monday we have.
It's tomorrow morning already.
Woo! Good thing it's done already.
That's right.
I don't know. What is Monday? I'm always losing my head.
So we're starting a short series on premarital relationships. So tomorrow morning we're talking a little bit about dating. So thanks. So with regards to dating, this is probably the episode that Andrea and I spent more time talking about ahead of time than any other episode we've done.
So much about dating. And yeah, it was interesting to talk about it and realize we didn't agree on some things, and then we came to an agreement on some things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Some things that we never thought about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but we spent hours talking about it and looking into the Bible and lots of time.
Yeah, we actually, the first night we started talking about it, we were going to shoot the episode that night, and we got to talking about it so long that we didn't have time to shoot the episode by the time we finished the conversation. So anyway, it's an interesting topic. It's probably one where as you watch it, you may disagree with some things that we say. That's great. We welcome that. So feel free to put those in the comments of that video or pop onto Facebook. And
and if you comments. Think dating doesn't apply to me, so I don't need to listen to that.
Good call, babe.
I would challenge that because you probably know people who are dating or will be dating.
That's right.
Like kids.
That's right. And one of the things we encourage people who are dating to do, spoiler alert, is find other couples that are married that have a marriage that looks like what they want their marriage to look like. So my encouragement to you, if you're watching this and you're a married couple where you feel like, hey, our marriage is submitted to the Lord and the Lord's really working through us, I would encourage you, seek out those singles that are at your church or otherwise in your life and invite them over for lunches routinely so they can see how you and your spouse interact, and you can talk with them about dating and marriage. It actually has to be, biblically, it has to be lunch, I think, or it doesn't count. So, but do that, to make the effort to do that.
Yeah. And then this Friday, we were talking about becoming new parents. The parenting gig. So part of the reason that we're doing that is it's on the front of our brains because one of Nathan's brothers just had their first baby this week.
They did.
So we get to love on her. Well, right now from a distance because a couple of our kids have a cold. Darn it. But they live close to us, which is great.
Yeah, that's great. Got a chance to see her briefly, kind of through a glass door, to at least be able to see her, and she's beautiful and precious, and we just absolutely love her to pieces.
We love nieces and nephews.
That's right.
We have a niece and nephew on my side, and unfortunately they don't live close, but we love them and seeing them.
Yeah, I can't wait till she's a little bit older and they can leave her over here for a while.
I know. She's old enough. She's like a few days old. It's old.
Right. Next week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait. It'll be great. So yeah, totally looking forward to that.
So it was kind of on the front of our brains.
Yep.
So we're talking about becoming new parents, and we're gonna have some conversation about what the Bible says about the roles of parents. I know we've had an episode like that before, but it's good to go over that again. So we're going to talk about what does the Bible say is the responsibility of parents. And then we're going to kind of give some tips and suggestions and thoughts for new parents. Right.
So this is totally, if you have thoughts on this, love for you to pass those our way as well. So that, next Sunday when we talk about this, we can give out some of the suggestions that you've had as well.
Definitely.
So that's kind of what we're thinking.
Yeah, because we don't write a book on parenting.
That's right. That'll come out on Friday morning.
Yeah.
So with that being said, there's only one thing left to do before we shut it down. Babe, if you could do just one thing in 2021, what would it be? Now's the time for those folks that have hung around with us all these minutes. You tell us, if you could do just one thing in 2021, what would it be?
Win the lottery.
If you could do just one thing,
sure.
Now you realize a prerequisite to that is playing the lottery.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. No. You're not going to just win. We don't all get entered in it just for being
You said just
here.
one thing. I mean,
so
I'll play the
lottery.
lottery.
The one thing Andrea wants to do this year is win the lottery without playing it.
I'll play once this year.
All right.
If I think about it.
All right.
No, I think this is such a loaded question. There's so many things that I want to say. I don't know. Read 100 books.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
That would be.
All right, read 100 books. About anything in particular?
No, I really love books. So, nope.
Okay.
In particular.
I like it. That's good.
Yeah. I feel like I have hardly any time to read because, you know.
Life, adulting,
just
parenting.
House, kids,
Right.
whatever.
Totally.
But I think that would be a good goal.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I do read. I read thousands of books a year. I already met my goal. For sure, I've already met my goal.
Curious
what am I thinking about?
Thing.
I have met my goal already. I met my goal probably by day 5.
Inaccurate.
Kids' books. I read thousands of books to my kids. So I met my goal already.
Okay.
All right.
Congrats. Boom.
Yeah. Boom.
All right. For you guys, what is one thing you want to accomplish this year in 2021?
Yeah, let's hear it.
If you could accomplish anything, what would you want to accomplish this year?
What would it be for you? I'm sure it's going to be something amazing that you're saying.
No, it isn't. For me, if I could do anything this year, it would be to have the highest growth year we've ever had in our company.
That's a good one.
Right. Because I feel like you and I, to your credit, because you drive this, like there's a lot of family goals that we've had for years that like I feel like we've done a really good job of taking steps in that direction. So
this is the year of the business.
Yeah, I would love for this year to be a year where we take some major strides in the business.
Yeah, I mean your business, you've done a lot.
Yeah, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
We have, but I want to do more. It's good. What about you guys? What's something you want to accomplish in 2021? Give a couple minutes for people to.
My first goal would be to think of it as 2021 and stop thinking about it as 2020. Oh, our thing says January 10th, 2020.
Oh man. Okay. Who screwed it up?
Not me. I don't have anything to do with that.
Well, I can't fix it till next week.
Darn it. Well, we're in last year right now.
That's right. All right.
That would be my first goal. I cannot.
Nobody has any goals.
I can't
Everyone's
get my brain
going
out
to
of
be a loser
thinking
in
about 2020.
Yeah.
I see 2021 written around, and I'm like, what are people talking about next year?
I've seen some hilarious memes about 2021.
Like what?
This what was the one I showed you the other day about? It showed like the Joker, like the Batman Joker, the scary one, showing like a scary clown, like pointing around on a scary clown, and it said, "Oh, this is just 2020 showing 2021 around the office." I hope not. But praise the Lord that all this going on down here, we've got a God that we worship that's so much greater than any of this. That it's all in His hands, and all we have to do is trust and obey. I wanted to talk. I'm not going to because it would be all night. But I wanted to talk about Maranatha, that word, because this used to be something that Christians kind of said to one another, right? Maranatha, Maranatha. So look that up, what that word means and how it applies to the Bible, where we can find it in the Bible. And let's talk about that a week from tonight.
Cool.
Sound good? All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And ladies, love you. Love your comments. Love you, sharing with us your thoughts.
Really appreciate that.
Really appreciate you being here. Can't wait to connect with you on Monday morning and Friday morning next week. And we will see you here a week from today for another live event. Love you guys. And remember, God is for your marriage.